Hello, you're kicking off the Tuesday's edition of QPVN English News Bulletin with Milling Chick and again deadlines. Ample room remains for Vietnam-France defense cooperation. Vietnam People's Army contributes to amendment of 2013 Constitution. Vietnam-China International Passenger Train Service resumes after 5-year hiatus. As the invitation of Vietnamese President Lương Cường, French President Emmanuel Macron is paying a state visit to Vietnam from May the 25th to the 27th. Following the welcome ceremony, the two leaders held talks. The two presidents agreed that the two countries should continue implementing such agreements in the fields of defense and security, trade and investment, effectively implement the EU-Vietnam Free Trade Agreement. France pledged to support the early ratification of the EU-Vietnam Investment Protection Agreement, advocate for the European Commission to lift its yellow card warning on Vietnamese seafood, and facilitate Vietnam to increase aquatic product exports to the French and EU markets. The two sides also reached a consensus on enhancing cooperation in science and technology, innovation, artificial intelligence, semiconductors, and digital transformation, especially in training high-quality human resources. The two leaders agreed to continue strengthening and promoting cooperation in traditional areas such as education, training, healthcare, justice, culture, tourism, agriculture, and climate change response. Exchanging notes on regional and international issues of mutual concerns, President Lương Cường affirmed that Vietnam maintains its steadfast foreign defense policy in international relations. Both sides let rest on the essential role of multilateralism, with the UN holding the central position. President Macron affirmed his support for ASEAN's stance on the East Sea, also known as South China Sea. Following their talks, the two leaders witnessed the handover of several cooperation documents. General Phan Van Giang, Vietnamese Minister of Defense, and French Minister of Armed Forces, Sébastien Lecornu, exchange of letters of intent between the two ministries on strengthening cooperation in the field of defense equipment, exchange between the General Director of the Saigon Newport Corporation and the Chairman of the CMA-CGM Group on the cooperation agreement on exploitation at both number 7 and number 8 Lạch Huyện, Hải Phòng. The two leaders then held a press conference to announce the results of the talks. As part of his official visit to Malaysia and participation in the 46th ASEAN Summit and related meetings in Kuala Lumpur, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính met with Philippine President Ferdinand Roman Diaz Marcos on May the 26th. At the meeting, President Marcos extended his deepest condolences to the state, government, and people of Vietnam over the passing of former President Trần Đức Lương. Highlighting strong progress in bilateral ties, President Marcos noted the vast potential for cooperation in areas such as economy, trade, defense, security, agriculture, right trade, and renewable energy. He expressed hope for further efforts to elevate the partnership. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính thanked President Marcos for his condolences and congratulated the Philippines on the successful midterm elections, in which the ruling alliance led by the Federal Party won a majority in the House of Representatives. Looking ahead to the 10th anniversary of the strategic partnership in 2025 and the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations in 2026, the Prime Minister called for stronger collaboration, especially in high-level exchanges, aiming to raise two-way trade to $10 billion and stepping up cooperation in food security and climate change response. The two leaders also discussed regional and global issues of mutual interest, agreeing to support each other at multilateral forums and work with ASEAN and China to promote effective, substantive negotiations on the code of conduct in the South China Sea in line with international law, including the 1982 UNCLOS. On May the 26th in Hanoi, General Phan Van Giang, Minister of National Defense, received Minister of National Defense of France, Sébastien Lecornu. He is escorting French President Emmanuel Macron on a state visit to Vietnam. General Phan Van Giang highly lauded the positive development in the Vietnam-France relations, especially the upgrade of their relations to a comprehensive strategic partnership on the occasion of the official visit to France by Party General Secretary and President Tô Lâm in October 2024. He emphasized that the two countries' defense cooperation has continued to be strengthened and developed in a practical and effective manner in many fields. Affirming that upper room remains for defense cooperation between the two militaries, Minister Phan Van Giang suggested that in the coming term, the two sides should continue to implement the cooperation orientations on the basis of the joint perceptions of the two countries' senior leaders and the annual cooperation program, focusing on such contents as exchanges and contacts at all levels, especially at the high level, effectively promoting the strategic dialogue and defense cooperation mechanism, cooperation in military medicine, United Nations peacekeeping and coordination and mutual support at regional and world security forums, thereby contributing to beefing up defense cooperation between the two countries for the benefit of each country, for peace, stability and common development of the region and the world. Expressing his delight at visiting Vietnam for the second time, French Minister Le Cornu emphasized that the meeting with the Vietnamese minister is an important sign of the good development in the relationship between the two countries. Vietnam and France share the desire for peace, respect for international law and mutual respect, calling the cooperation contents just agreed upon by the two countries' senior leaders during the state visit to Vietnam by French President Macron. The French minister said that he hopes that the two sides would actively beef up defense cooperation, thereby continuing to make more substantive and effective contributions to the comprehensive strategic partnership between the two countries.
On May 26 in Hanoi, General Phan Van Giang, Minister of National Defense, at a conference to collect feedback on the draft National Assembly resolution regarding amendments to several articles of the 2013 Constitution of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. Attending the event were also leaders of the Ministry of National Defense.
Over the past term, the Ministry of National Defense has launched a comprehensive campaign to collect feedback across the military on the draft resolution to amend and supplement several articles of the 2013 Constitution. A total of 4,686 conferences and seminars were held, resulting in 415,846 opinions. Most showed strong consensus with the proposed amendments. Military units were instructed to conduct the process under tight leadership from party committees and commanders, ensuring accountability, coordination, transparency, and adherence to schedule. General Phan Van Giang praised the active involvement of all levels in promoting awareness and collecting opinions. He emphasized that these constitutional changes will help perfect the legal framework for military and defense affairs, strengthen the modernization of the armed forces, and streamline local military structures to meet new mission requirements, contributing to an efficient, compact political system in Vietnam's new development phase.
Coming up next, Vietnam-China International Passenger Train Service resumes after 5-year hiatus. Forever singing songs about Ho Chi Minh. At Dong Dang International Railway Station in Lạng Sơn Province, the Vietnam Railways Corporation officially welcomed the first group of international passengers on the Vietnam-China cross-border train route, marking the resumption of service after a 5-year suspension due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Starting May 26, 2 daily trains will operate between Gia Lâm Station in Hanoi and Nan Ning Station in China. From May 27th, direct rail service between Hanoi Gia Lâm Station and Beijing will also be launched. The revival of this international passenger rail service is expected to bolster economic cooperation, optimize the use of railway infrastructure, and open up new opportunities for international tourism between Vietnam and China. Farmers in Trà Vinh have begun sowing the 2025 summer-autumn rice crop. Among those, 37 agricultural cooperatives have persisted to develop high-quality, low-emissions rice production, covering a total area of more than 5,121 hectares. This marks the third consecutive season Japan has joined the program Sustainable Development of 1 million hectares of high-quality, low-emission rice cultivation linked to green growth in the Mekong Delta by 2030, with consistently high returns for participating farmers. The model helps reduce seed usage by around 60%, along with a 20 to 30% reduction in chemical fertilizers and to fewer pesticide applications per crop cycle. The average rice yields in the model range from 6.7 to 7.5 tons per hectare, 5 to 7% higher than traditional methods. Farmers see profits rise by 20 to 30%, equal to an additional 6.5 to 7.8 million Vietnam dongs per hectare. Notably, greenhouse gas emissions are cut by 40 to 50%, contributing to environmental protection and sustainable agriculture. Japan plans to expand the model to 10,550 hectares in 2025 and to over 30,700 hectares by the end of 2030.
In the field of art, perhaps there is hardly any leader in the history of Vietnam and the world who is loved and praised as much as President Ho Chi Minh. In the treasure trove of Vietnamese revolutionary music, the image of Uncle has become an immortal symbol portrayed through hundreds of emotional and proud songs, especially when being performed by soldiers artists with all of their hearts.
During his lifetime, the beloved father of the nation always had a special love for the soldiers, sharing every hardship and difficulty they went through. Meanwhile, musicians and singers in the military, with all their hearts and respect, have composed and sung melodies imbued with emotions, praising the beautiful image and shining example of Uncle Ho. Through each verse, they conveyed their gratitude, pride, and steadfast promise to continue the path that the party and Uncle Ho have chosen for the nation and the Vietnam People's Army. Over the years, the artists and actors at the theatre have composed many songs and dances about Uncle Ho in praise of the party, the country, and the military. Especially when performing on stage, the artists and actors have put all their enthusiasm and hearts to offer extremely sublime performances, leaving good feelings in the heart of the audience. Songs about President Ho Chi Minh are all those with exquisite lyrics and melodies. Every time we perform those songs, we are extremely respectful, putting our emotions into the songs so that when we sing a piece, these soldier artists, whether on the domestic or international stage, still sing loudly for their comrades and compatriots, contributing to spreading the noble qualities of Uncle Ho soldiers, bringing the image of Vietnamese soldiers and their love for Uncle Ho to friends around the world. They are not only a bridge connecting comrades and compatriots, but also cultural ambassadors, helping promote the traditional cultural values of the Vietnamese people to international communities. When singing songs about Uncle Ho, I feel that these are not just songs, but also the feeling once again deeply engraved towards the contributions that President Ho Chi Minh has made to the country and people of Vietnam. The image of President Ho Chi Minh has long gone beyond the borders of a country, becoming a symbol of peace, humanity, and the desire for independence and freedom for all oppressed peoples in the world. For more than half a century, every time President Ho Chi Minh's birth anniversary is celebrated, the Ballad of Ho Chi Minh by British musician Ewan MacColl resounds with the chorus, Ho 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 Chi Minh. It is no coincidence that this song has been translated into many languages, becoming a familiar musical symbol in international events about Uncle Ho. Anywhere from large squares, solemn halls to friendly meetings, whenever the melody of the Ballad of Ho Chi Minh resounds, it all seems to touch the bottom of listeners' hearts, imbued with admiration and love for a great man who is extremely simple and close. People abroad, especially our overseas compatriots, have a special and sacred affection for alcohol. Performing in foreign countries, we always choose works about alcohol and the party so as to further promote his image while consolidating the trust among international friends towards the country and people of Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh, it is not only a person's name, but has become the echo of love for the fatherland, a symbol of ideals, faith, and strong international solidarity.
It's the end of the English News Bulletin today. Don't watch the news again at QPVN.vn. Goodbye and see you next time.